So we'd be in Denny's, and Glenn was struggling, and he told me that he's not going to heaven. He's like, even if it's true.
I still am not positive I am.
You might not. I'm not going to judge one way or the other, but he's like, I'm not going to go to heaven.
Yeah.
And I go, Glenn, if you want to go, you're going to go. And we had this conversation, and it's almost like what you're talking about. And here's the worst part. I believe you're going to make it, but then people are going to walk in, and they're going to see you there, and they've lived a perfect life.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, I ain't going to this shithole. I'm out.
Dude.
Because Glenn Curtis is here.
Hey.
And I think that honestly, what you're talking about in your ward with the vision of this Ward family doing the same thing, I think that we're all kind of like that. Hey, Danny, would you give me a picture that is a little bit Mormon? More Mormon. Make it more. Make it more Mormon. Little bit more. Just a teach more. Yeah, more.
Welcome to the Extra Mo Show.
Yeah.
I've been in Europe for a while,
Brag.
and then we've had people sick, and we've gone 5 weeks without the Extra Mo Show, and I feel hollow inside. So we're back.
I went to the Europe of Utah.
How were you? How was your sickness? Both ends. How did that go?
Worked. It worked the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, I recommend baby wipes for days
Let me
like
put it that way. Yeah.
Don't flush them though. It's bad news.
Yeah, and then my daughter, my wife's out of town, and so my kids all like to snuggle with me in our bed when my wife's not there. And I also in the middle of the night, my daughter gets up and crawls to the edge of the bed, and I just hear this splat all over the freaking hardwood floor.
It was her head.
No, it was her puking.
Oh,
and my two thoughts, I'm like, oh no, and then I was like, oh, thank you, Reagan, for getting to the edge of the bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to look at it, Travis.
Yeah.
I was like, it isn't in my blankets
like,
and everything.
So positive.
How dare I expect it to be in the toilet?
Yeah. Well, it would have been an extra 3 or 4 seconds for her.
Yeah. They were like, she had to take that time to think about
I
getting
don't
to
want
the
to
edge
have
of the bed.
unrealistic expectations.
I know.
Yeah, anyway. But yeah, I went to the Europe of Utah.
Oh, which part?
Ogden.
Oh.
Yeah.
But actually, it was amazing.
That's not Europe.
I went to see the Flaming Lips with my kids.
What is
we
that?
go there.
Like a
The
group
Flaming
or-
Lips. Yeah. Do you remember the song, She Don't Use Jelly? She Don't Use... Wait. It's called Vaseline. It's called She Don't Use Jelly. That's the name of it. But it's the song...
I'm not sure that's even appropriate.
It was big when we were in the 90s.
Well,
Anyway.
I wasn't that cool.
It's pretty fun.
I was still listening to Huey Lewis in the
People
news.
who know will think I'm cool for
I was
going
alive,
to that.
but I don't.
But me and my kids, we all listened to it, and so I took them there, and we went to grab a pizza, and we went to the concert.
Nice.
It was super fun. They sing Yoshimi and the Battle of the Pink Robots. Anybody?
No.
No.
All right.
No, we were always
Sorry, man.
grounded.
The famous song they have is from the Marvel movie Guardians of the Galaxy. They did Do You Realize? Which is a cool song, and actually segues pretty good to what I want to talk about. Because like the song kind of goes like, "Do you realize that everyone you know someday will be dead?" But it's like a positive spin on it. Like, so
Yeah, it's just-
take some time, you take your time, and love the people around you.
Fun topic.
Yeah, no, but the reason I was late today, I was sitting there and I totally spaced because my daughter comes to me about 8:45, of course, and says, "Tomorrow, I'm running for class president." So
This
of
is,
course it's at 8:45 the
whoa.
night before.
Yeah.
And this is Jaylee.
Do I
It's
need
a big deal.
posters?
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm like, and then
Yeah.
we have a little bit of an issue because my wife. So Jaylee's delayed a little bit, and she gets picked on because she's, you just meet people that are a little odd, and then
Yeah.
And then
That's how people feel when they
elementary
meet
school.
me.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Glenn.
Yeah, I get it.
You don't know how it feels, Glenn, because you are that
Yeah,
person.
I'm that person.
No, but like, so I kind of get why other people will separate her and pick on her.
Yeah,
I mean,
I get it.
I kind of get it, but she doesn't quite get it. So she's putting herself out there, and I ask her, I go, Jaylee, you might not win. How are you going to feel about that? I'm going to explore both sides. I'm going to say, how are you going to win? She's like, oh, it's no problem. I ran last year and nobody voted for me. I was so sad.
Cool, though. Cool that she's doing it again.
Yeah, so she's still going for it. But then my wife got involved. She's like, I don't know, what's our responsibility? Should we protect her from this, as her parents, and not let her put herself out there? And maybe she's right. But I was kind of like, well, I mean, if she wants to do it, I'm going to let her do it. And so
I think that's the right move.
Yeah.
Yeah, let her do it.
Because, I mean, naturally you want to protect her as your child. And you don't want her to be sad.
I mean,
or
I'd like her to never feel pain or stuff, but I'm almost like she might need to get beat up a little bit more because she doesn't observe social cues very good. And so it's like maybe they have to get drummed into her, or something. I don't know. So that was my adventure, but that was so sad.
Is she doing the posters?
Yeah, we did the poster. Vote Jaylee today. It is the way.
Oh, dang.
Nice.
That's good. Did you use ChatGPT for that, or did that one come?
Yeah, I used Claude.
So like GUEY. She's going for the Latino vote.
Yes.
Nice.
I am the way.
She's gonna lock in
I am the way.
Latino vote. The Latino vote of Lehigh, Utah. She's gonna lock it in. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool that she's. I like my wife being ready to jump in and protect her, but I also like Jaylee being brave enough to just go and face failures.
As parents, we go through that battle, right? Like, I want to protect my kids from everything. And it is a weird feeling, like the stage of life that we're in now where we have adult kids and you're like, wait, I can't protect them from very much at all anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe we were overprotective a little bit when they were growing up. I don't know. Well, try not to. I mean,
I've told all my older kids, I may not tell Jaylee because she may just take me up on it, but like, if you're going to like do drugs, do them while you live with me so that I can help you.
yeah. So,
And so that you can realize and you're not ashamed. And I kind of like I called everyone's bluff. As way as a dad, I was like, and none of them have done drugs. Well, I don't know, maybe to my knowledge.
I'm only chuckling because
They're not drug addicts.
That conversation happened once in my house.
And
I was so dumb. My dad's like, if you want to try alcohol and things, you do it in my house. And I'll do it.
No.
And so I was like, when can we go? And he's like, what? And I'm like, so like,
I was just saying that.
can we go, like, can we just do it tonight? And he's like, you dumb A. And I'm like, oh. So I don't think he meant it.
No, I don't think he did.
We didn't do it.
Mm-mm. He's like, I got you.
That would have been a cool bonding moment.
I got you. I tricked you.
I'm like, wait. So
he just literally just grabs the rug you're standing on and just yanks it out.
He's like, you freaking moron. Anyway, I think I like that, dude. So when will we find out how many votes she got? Tomorrow?
Well, the teacher does do a good job. The winner is announced, but there is not any number of votes, so no one feels.
Oh, okay. So she won't be like, I didn't get any votes.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the teachers that play the mental game with them. Like, it was really close.
Yeah. Oh, so now her other teachers in the past, they announced them, and so but she survived that. So she should be able to survive this.
Tough kid.
I think my wife's a little worried because she's like, we get a text. I should read the text to you guys. It's so freaking hilarious. Jaylee had a day. Here's like 2 good things she did, and she named 2 good things. But she also got into a little bit of an incident where she stuck her middle finger up at another student.
They probably deserved it.
She's in 5th grade. Not with Jaylee. No way, dude.
No, she just dropped
Jaylee
it.
for sure like started it, and then also.
No, yeah. Jaylee's like, you're not voting for me?
Yeah. Jaylee's the one that got in a fight with her sister when she was like 3. And then the next day, Reagan came downstairs and gave me a hug, and I'm just like, what? You smell like poop. Like, not like a fart, not even like you crapped your pants. Like someone just gonna dump on my face. That's how bad this smells. You need to go shower. And I'm like, that's really weird. And so she's like 3. They're like little toddlers, I go upstairs, and Jaylee had taken a dump on her pillow.
Oh, dude.
As revenge.
These are the fun...
Dude, that escalated quickly.
Fun parts of parenting. Well, I want everyone on the Extra Mo show to enjoy that.
The funny part is, you have 7 kids, and you think you've seen it all.
Yeah.
And then just new stuff keeps popping up. So...
Well, no, everyone knows that it has kids. You haven't seen
when
it
do we
all.
get a pattern established where we've seen stuff? Anyway, but that was kind of I love Jaylee. She's a freaking fighter. she's aware of her limitations.
Yeah.
But kind of her inability to be aware of certain things gives her a certain bravery that I'm kind of jealous of.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it. Very
Anyway,
cool. Well,
I'll update everybody.
We've had some things happen the last
5
weeks for sure that we've missed.
Yeah.
The world's gone a little bit, well, not gone crazy, crazy events. I'll say the last day I was in Paris, the prime minister got forced to resign. Their government's crumbling right now, but
I didn't know that happened.
yeah,
That's probably Candace Owens
the
related.
day before we were there, and then the concierge of the hotel's like, we were excited to get to sleep in because we pushed really hard to see everything. I mean, dude, we did Europe, man. We did it. We saw it all, dude. So
How do you hold up physically?
not good. Like, I'm actually started a special diet when I got back and stuff because, like, yeah, my neuropathy is bad. My legs were bruised all the way. I mean, it was crazy. We pushed hard, but it was awesome. But so we think we're going to be able to sleep in, and really the concierge is like, you guys need to leave at like 5 to get out of here because this whole place is going to go nuts and like shut down. So we got to the airport way early and just hung out for several hours because sure enough, man, they stormed the streets of Paris and everything while we're taking off on our airplane. It was nuts. And then we get back to the States.
I didn't even know that was happening, bro.
Yeah, 11-hour flight. And as soon as we landed, the phone goes on. It was the day Charlie Kirk got shot. So I opened the phone and... maybe we can explore some of those emotions. I think a lot of people have already had time to reflect on that, but it might be good to talk a little bit about that.
You know what really was interesting about that to me is that I kind of align with Charlie Kirk probably, but I didn't listen to him that much. I saw his little shorts.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't say that I was like, I wasn't like into Charlie Kirk. I don't have any of his merch or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it really affected me a lot.
Yeah.
I think my thing was like, it just felt so unjust. Like, I don't know, like Trump, like, and hopefully this will get us on the FBI watch list from, but like when someone took a shot at him, I'm like, oh, he's the president. That's
like
people.
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Not that we support it.
The most powerful man in the world.
Who goes around pissing off
And he
people on
pisses
purpose.
people off. Yeah, he's antagonistic.
Yeah. Charlie Kirk did not, but he did go. Trump's like, going around pissing people off on purpose.
So it looked like it was rational, and this was so not rational. And then maybe also because it was, my son had class that day, and it got canceled at that school.
Well, sure. Yeah,
being local, I think, had something to do with it too.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes from our house, like that, and then with the thing with President Nelson, we could touch on that a minute today, and then the the shooting in Michigan. There's just a lot going on, so things that we can kind of talk about that might be beneficial for people to reflect on. The first thing with Charlie,
you've made some interesting comments on Facebook. I'd like you to explore a little bit, like your Glenness.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Was subdued a little bit.
Well, there's a lot of personal reflection, right, when something like that happens. First off, we all knew something was going to happen. We've known it now, I feel like, for a few years. Like when they shot at Trump the first time, I'm like, I'm shocked that this hasn't happened before now. Like, and that's kind of how I've been, the divisive stuff, right? And, everybody wants to blame their party or whatever. I'm not about that anymore. Like, here's the point where I've gotten with all of this stuff is like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'll vote for what I feel is right. I don't want to have a discussion with anyone anymore. I was naive enough when I first started getting into, debating politics. I was naive and dumb, and I'm almost embarrassed. Not even almost. I'm embarrassed because nobody wants to have a dialogue. Nobody wants to do what Charlie Kirk did and reach across an aisle and talk and come to what we agree on. Nobody wants to be proven wrong, which is sad because
it almost was like you were polarizing it more.
Yeah, and I never wanted that. I wanted people to open their eyes and see things a certain way. And I'll be honest, I've always been open-minded enough to, if anybody that wants to convince me to go to their side, bring me something compelling and I'll do it. I'm not set on anything in my life other than
electronic document signature software, spiritual
knowledge, right? Spiritual knowledge of the gospel, but everything else is like, it's up for grabs. I don't care, I think it's funny how people when they argue with me about the compassion side, for example, of socialism, I'm the guy that's like, oh, I'm a socialist. I've made covenants actually to be soon as the Lord's in charge, I'll give everything I have to help the poor. I'm all about it. Like, we'll all do it, but I don't trust a government to do that because I've read history, right? So these conversations, it's like nobody wants to talk and think, oh, maybe I do. I haven't run into the person yet that wants to do that. In all these years of me just talking about it, no one wants to be wrong about anything.
You mean that disagrees with you?
Yeah, nobody wants to be wrong about anything. And that's kind of how this Exmo, this podcast started as helping people in faith crisis. And after talking to dozens of them and realizing that all but 3 of them just wanted to argue, nobody wants help. Nobody's reading anti-Mormon literature and wanting to get to the bottom of it, or they'll just do what I did and get to the bottom of it, right? Nobody wants help, you know? They just want to be right. They want their feelings reaffirmed, and this is a dangerous spot that we've gotten to as a country, and as the part that like really hurt me. I was in bishopric meeting the first Sunday after it happened, and the bishop just started our bishopric meeting. He's a great guy. I love him. He's awesome. And he's like, how's everybody doing? And everyone's like, I'm doing great. Yeah, that's good. You know, da-da-da. And I wasn't doing good. I was actually doing really, really bad. Like, I was a big Charlie Kirk guy. I've taught my kids the Constitution since they were 5. We've talked about it at family dinner weekly their whole lives.
Charlie Kirk specifically, or just the topics?
Charlie Kirk for the last 10 years. Yeah, my kids have been like, my kids grew up watching and they idolized. My son called from his mission bawling. My other son was crying at our house when we got home from the airport.
Really?
Yeah, it was devastating. Like, they admired him. They looked up to him.
He was admirable for sure.
Yeah, dude. And it's like and so we were really sad. We were really sad that just a good guy, like young with kids, right? But then immediately we started seeing this stuff. And this is where I've toned down social media to the point where I try not to even look at it anymore because I can't handle it. People that I love, not even caring at all. Not even caring at all because he was such a prick, you know, because they've seen the snippets. They didn't. It's like anti-Mormon literature, dude. It's like all this stuff that we are programmed to believe because of snippets, and nobody's looking for anything. And to me, it's where it's what's going to bring about the second coming of the Savior. So I'm not going to fight it anymore.
I'm convinced that, like, and I'm not blaming necessarily the brand Instagram or anything, but the shorts maybe they might be the most powerful propaganda thing that's ever happened. And, you know, it depends on who wields it. I mean, there's some good that comes from it. I love that. That's how I got in that Rapalai chick. She's amazing. I love her stuff, but it still can be used for good and evil. But the ability to, like, give yourself a dopamine reward on top of seeing a piece of content that's so curated and controlled. So like Charlie Kirk says, or anybody, I've said terrible things in the last half hour that if they were taken into a short,
dude, we'd be like canceled and persecuted and excommunicated all at once.
Yeah. So it's like, it's very, and it's hard to remember. Like, even for me, I know there's just it's a really powerful thing.
It's been crazy because, like, even like he, you know, just about Charlie Kirk. Again, this isn't about politics, guys. This is not what we're talking about. But there's a viral thing about him talking about DEI hires. It makes him look racist. The short makes him look racist to the point where I was even like, "Whoa, Charlie, that's crazy." But then I go look at the full context. You have to literally.
What did he do? Blackface?
You have to search high and low for the context. And then, like, for some reason, that's not easily found.
I've heard the
and
quote.
And then you see the whole context, and it's like the least racist thing you've ever heard in your life. But there were thousands, tens of thousands of people arguing about something that was never even said.
It reminds me. Remember the Trump one where he said that? What was it when the guy drove into the crowd, and Trump said that, like, there's good people on both sides, like the Nazis.
About the white supremacists. Yeah, white supremacists. That's not what he was talking about. That wasn't
what he was saying. In fact, he said specifically not them, but he
was literally talking about Republicans and Democrats, both sides.
Yeah,
he wasn't. Yeah, and so it's like, dude. So now we've got a society where we are divided over stuff that's not even real. We're arguing over comments that aren't even real. It's like arguing over a cartoon story, but because it makes me feel better as a Republican or me feel better as a Democrat, right? And something that I've heard a lot about is people saying, well, gosh, it's the separation of the wheat and the tares. And the part that's getting me, that I want to discuss and get your ideas, is I'm talking about the separation of the wheat and the wheat. I'm seeing I'm confused by it. I'm seeing just in ward level, good, righteous people. And there's a division because of politics. There's a division because of politics dude, an organization that's trying to be the city of Enoch. We all love each other. We get open about our spiritual feelings from the pulpit in testimony meeting. We get serious about the things that are really most sacred. The week,
Glenn. That's the point. That's the point is, and we can reflect on our own selves. They aren't the wheat. And I'm not judging them. Maybe I'm not the wheat. I'm just saying that the point of the wheat and the tares thing is, have you seen a picture of them growing together? They look identical until they hit a certain point.
I just think
I just think we're hitting that certain point. There's an inflection point going on.
So is the wheat the political view versus I look at this and go, the wheat can still be both sides, right?
Politically, yeah, because the wheat is disciples of Christ.
But it's the tares that are the ones that are reacting poorly to
whichever side they're on. That's my point too. Yeah, great point, great clarification is that the thing that's separating the wheat from the tares is that you can't tell the difference because you're going to church, you're taking the sacrament, you have your families, all that jazz. But what's rooted in your heart? No one can really see that. And now we're hitting an inflection point where that's becoming more apparent.
When you have feelings like, I can't love and serve this brother or sister because of their political affiliation.
Are you saying you have those feelings?
Temptations.
Ruh-roh.
Temptations. I'm working through them. I'm getting over them.
Okay, I think you're hitting on my point. Would be this: that makes you wheat.
But if I'm a person who is really cognizant of this and working on myself, what about the ones that aren't? That they're great people. They have testimonies. They live the gospel, right? This is where we've got to get over it. We've got to get over this politics crap, and we've got to unite. And so one thing that I thought that I did, you asked what I post on Facebook. I'm like, it's becoming abundantly clear to me as I get older and live life that there are people that think they're way different, and they're not. They're very much alike. For example, I know there's a Democrat out there. I haven't met because I don't talk a lot about politics with people on the board.
Democrat.
There's a liberal out there who loves liberalism for the idea of helping the poor,
right,
and standing up for the people that are marginalized.
Is typically a liberal concept.
Yeah, until we speak. Anyway, so all this stuff, right? And then as conservatives, we want the same thing. So it's like we are being divided by social media and by these narratives in a way that we shouldn't even be divided. Because if we really talked about these things, we'd be like, so what is it that we want? We want everyone to have enough food. We want everyone to have affordable health care. We want everybody to feel loved. Both parties want that. How are we letting a title? It'd be like being a BYU fan and a Utah fan, but we're in church. We're worshiping together. This is where there has to be a way to unify. My bishop gave a great talk last Sunday or the Sunday before about covenants, right? The only way to make it through this is the safety of our covenants. And if everybody just worries about their covenants, everything will work out. But I really would like to see more people unifying and talking about, why are we divided? Why do I have bad feelings over someone for their political beliefs, Travis? I shouldn't. There should be no bad feelings, because I know their intention isn't evil, some of them. So why is there a bad feeling? Most of them. Is it pride? Is it I have to be right?
Yeah, a little bit.
I have to be right. My team has to be right.
Well, I think some of it, Glenn, is that we're natural men, right? And we're enemies to God naturally. And that means we're war, all that stuff. And that's a pretty basic answer. But I think another thing, too, is that we live in a society where we voluntarily program ourselves. We allow ourselves to be programmed, is a better way to put it, with the media that we have. And I remember the prophet always talking about, guard your media choices. This is back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And he's guard your media choices. And even the beats.
We all thought that just meant no rated R movies.
Yeah, I was at a and actually rated R isn't even the thing. Like you can watch a rated R movie. There's movies that are not rated R you shouldn't watch, and anyway.
Right.
Yeah, Passion of the Christ was rated R.
Sure.
Right.
And so, but I remember this one. It was a fireside I think I went to, and the speaker was talking about like even the beats of music you should be aware of, and how they affect you, and because there's things going on, and as you get older, you realize that's totally true.
Oh yeah.
And then, so we put ourselves in this media cauldron. I was just barely showing an example of using this phone, and I've just we've programmed ourselves. And so what is the tone? What if you put it all in one hopper? What is the tone of what we allow ourselves to be exposed to?
And right, it's just
divisive.
contention. It's just contention.
It's pure
and division
contention because
everywhere.
that's what gets engagement. People literally make money off of it. If everyone gets along,
There's no
that
money.
doesn't work.
No
It
one's
doesn't-
tuning into that
no
news
one's
station.
tuning in.
One
There's
thing
no-
that I've been thinking a lot about, right? Because I think there's this interesting dichotomy between the knowledge that we know that we have of the gospel and what is to come, right? The things that are going to take place that are in the scriptures. But then there's also this other part of us that thinks that somehow we can stop, control, or have influence over those things and somehow prevent them or change them, right? But the thing that I've been thinking a lot about as well is the proclamation of the family, right? And how that came out. When did that come out? Like 2000, 2001?
That was over 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. But think about that. Think about the timing of when that came out. That was before social media was a big thing.
And we were all wondering why they were talking about that stuff.
Right. And
The proclamation of the family, I still remember, like, my dad made a big deal out of it because it was like a big thing.
yeah.
Made a big deal out of it. And
But
I
that was
remember
like the
reading
first
it.
of-
And I'm like, how old were we? Like, Mission?
What, you guys were like 50?
20 years ago?
It was like Mission. It was like
in my
96 or
30s.
something.
Oh, okay. My
I
bad.
don't know.
Anyway, and my dad made a big deal out of it. I remember just thinking, was it kind of, I mean,
Dad, I know boys are boys, Dad.
and all my Catholic friends agreed with me. Everyone agreed. It was not revolutionary. Man, if it came out right now, people
Dude, it's
would
so
lose.
divisive that people in my ward are divided
Yeah.
by the proclamation of the family. You know, one gal says, I don't think he should have got shot, but I don't agree with
That came out
one
in
thing that guy
90
ever said about Charlie Kirk. And I'm like,
95.
that guy's like the biggest advocate of the proclamation of the family I've ever heard.
Well,
Like,
and
you agree with him on a
also,
lot.
the people say they don't agree with him. He literally talked about Jesus Christ being his Lord
Yeah,
and Savior.
yeah, I
all
think
the
you
time.
agree with that.
There's one thing.
You agree with that. You agree with like gender roles. You agree with, I think you're here, you're in church. I don't know. My feeling, guys, is that I really want to work on myself because these natural man feelings aren't good for me. These are the things that could take righteous men down, is not being able to see their weaknesses
No,
in themselves
100%.
and saying, no, I have to love.
Getting entrenched.
I have to love, dude. I have to like put these things aside. Am I passionate about my country? Am I passionate about my freedom? Yes. I'm more passionate about the kingdom of God. Like I'm more passionate about helping people have testimonies and helping people live good lives. And so I can't let one thing that I'm passionate about that's not as important get in the way of something I'm passionate about that's way more important, especially in the eyes of God, right? If I love God, right? The great two commandments aren't love your country and love your God. It's love your God and love your neighbor as thyself. So we've just got to find a way to unite Christians, Latter-day Saints. Like, you know, we were going to talk a little bit about the Michigan shooting. Like, this isn't all about Charlie Kirk, but
Have you ever heard this phrase? Strong opinions weakly held. Weekly as in WEAK, weekly.
Oh yeah, no, dude. My bishop is a professor, and he said there was a study that people are more likely to change their religion than to change their political party.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's a true sociology. Like
Well, I think this is interesting because the guy who coined that phrase, his name's Paul Sappho.
strong opinions weakly held. WEAK.
Yeah. Loosely held is what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
But it essentially comes down to, so he was a technology like forecaster. So he's looking in the future and he talked about it. He's like, in order to grow the fastest, you have to have really strong, well thought out opinions on, and this is on technology, something you think is a science, but you have to hold them very weakly because you don't know what the future holds. So like, for instance, like, have you ever seen that interview with that dude who's they're talking about the internet, and they're talking with Bryant Gumbel on the Good Morning America, and it's like 1988 or something, and the one guy's literally going, "Yeah, this is a total fad. This is not gonna do anything." And everyone's kind of laughing at the one guy who's like, "This is like the biggest thing since the printing press," and they're like, "No one's gonna have a computer." And he's like, "No." He goes, "There'll be computers in everybody's house and all this stuff." And so it's like, I think that
now there's a computer on my lap.
If it applies to technology, my full point to come full circle is you're bringing it up with the Charlie Kirk, but even in our religion, it's like, I was raised, and when I was young, it's like God had a white beard and he was like on this marble throne. Well, that's changed, right? It was a strong opinion I had, but if I had held to that and I still believed only that, like, and maybe that's true, I don't want to step on people's beliefs, but then I'm not allowed to evolve past that. Yeah. I have to hold it. I have to weakly hold it, so that if something better, like you're saying, like you're open minded to hearing someone else come and change your mind. It's like, yeah, that's good. Like, take your most sacred belief and realize that when the full truth is revealed, the God in heaven who's infinite and had the atonement and organized the planets and the universe, and that there's a trillion universes inside of the gogglosphere or whatever it's called. When all that's finally revealed, I guarantee you your current perception of all of it is just wrong.
It's over and it's wrong. All of us, even those with the fullness.
Even the
brother who's got his calling and election made sure.
Yeah,
he's going to get up there and realize he's an infant in his knowledge. This is what cracks me up when Christians say Latter-day Saints aren't Christian, right? This is a big one because that's going on a lot right now, because when Mormons, LDS members get shot up in church, half the Christians that make comments are like, they're not Christian. That's the thing they're worried about.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Like, can you just give us a rundown maybe of what just the facts?
Yeah, I can get you just the facts.
And then let's shift gears to that, if that's cool.
Can I ask a question though?
Yeah.
Before we jump into that topic, here's the thing. Like, I get what you're saying, Travis, about a lot of our things that we believe, things that we feel like, oh, this is like solidified, right? Like, go back to the 1400s, maybe 1300s, and mainstream science was that the Earth is at the center of the universe, the sun's rotating around us, the planets are rotating around us, we are the very center. And then fast forward, obviously a couple hundred years, that's not the case, and people are being like burned at the stake for saying otherwise, right? So I get that perception, but in my mind, there's a part of me that like disagrees on to some extent, because there are truths that I think are infinite that cannot be changed.
I'm not saying that
for sure. Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is that you are so far, meaning us,
right,
are so far from being able to understand what those truths are, that when we understand those infinite truths, we always the actual truth, then what we currently believe or understand.
Yeah, I think the best example of this, if I can intervene here, is I do a lot of talking about the gospel. I'm very immersed in not having a calling, but ministering. I talk to a lot of people about the gospel, about their lives.
You should charge for that.
It's amazing to me. And please, I hope no one ever is offended by this, but it's amazing to me, and I'm not judging anyone, how elementary the understanding of the gospel is by very active Latter-day Saints of 30, 40, 50 years. It's very elementary. Like, I obey the commandments so I can be with my family forever. Just statements that I'm like,
well, think of like sunbeams.
Sure. And that's okay, dude.
Yeah.
They go and they have faith, right? Some of us have sought the mysteries of God, many of them, and that's okay for us too. And so there's just people that are on every level of knowledge that's been revealed, and understanding of the atonement, and understanding of what the gospel is why it's even restored at all, you know, and all of this stuff. And it's like, anyway, like that, to talk about what you're saying, like, yeah, man. And then those that think they've had it all revealed to them, man, they have got a wake up call too, right? They've got a wake up call because they don't know very much, dude, compared to what there is to know.
Imagine this. Imagine the conceit and the narcissistic belief that there are absolute truths, which I believe.
There are.
And also that I currently am the guardian of them and I understand them.
Dude.
It's just not even close.
But then everybody's arrogant about everything, and that's what's driving me crazy.
Well, I think I'm arrogant too. So I'm not
you
judging.
You can show proof nowadays, guys, of a topic to someone with an opinion, and 9 out of 10 are going to go, "That's not real." And it's like, no, this is proof.
You're touching on
it's not real.
You're touching on a subject of mine that I've been thinking about, like back to the shorts and the videos, and it's like, you know, that you can manipulate the information by shortening that video, but also, like, even the shooter of Charlie Kirk, in my mind, there's doubt that those pictures are even real. Or now, I'm not saying they are. I don't want to get a conspiracy going or anything like that. But
I get what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is the doubt's in my mind. Whereas there was a point in my life where if there was photographic evidence, like remember we'd call it they have photographic evidence, and that was in our mind.
They have AI.
That was like a lock. Like if there was a photographic evidence, it's like guilty
within a year, dude.
Now we're just like
within a year.
There's a photo. What angle? What camera? Where's the original?
Yeah. AI will be so advanced within 1 year that an enemy can make a video with your face of you molesting somebody, and you will go to prison if they want, because that is their evidence, dude. People are like right to not believe. I'm talking about, when I say proof, I mean real proof. Like you can literally prove it. Here, guys, no. Here is the item that you said doesn't exist.
Of course, yeah.
No, that's not real. It's right here. Touch it, feel it.
Glenn Lehman and Lemuel saw an actual angel.
But
you can do that too, and so can I.
Don't you think it's Satan's plan, man? This AI, all this fantasy, all this crazy stuff. He's like, dude, if I can make them not believe anything. And again, we're going to touch on President Nelson. But how prophetic was it, dude, before all this stuff started coming? Nelson's like, hey, man, the time's here. You can't trust anything other than what's inspired by the Holy Spirit. Yeah. You won't survive. And he's right.
And we're going to take you out of the church building, and we're going to put the gospel in your home more.
Yeah.
And
then COVID hits.
And then COVID hits. And then now it's even more important that we're doing, because we'll
talk about him. We'll talk about him. Going back to the topic that you were talking about.
I want to bring up that.
Christianity.
Well, guys. Also, I want to get that shooting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Christians saying LDS aren't Christians. This topic. Imagine like what they're saying, what those people are saying, but they don't even understand their own Christianity. Much like many LDS don't understand their own LDS doctrine.
A news channel was talking about it, and they're like, Mormon church shooting, and they had the little summary of the beliefs, and it wasn't necessarily good or bad, but then they had a picture of the Jehovah's Witness church sign.
They were so confused by it. But my point is this. To believe as a Christian that a Latter-day Saint isn't Christian is saying what you said that we do. We have a monopoly on truth. They're saying, hey, we know everything there is to know.
Conceited and narcissistic.
We know everything there is to know about Jesus because we have those New Testament books. So anything above and beyond that means a different Jesus. And guys, like, think about how insane that is to believe. Like, in other words, if Jesus comes down and you don't recognize him, and
Lord of the Rings is longer than that,
and he starts telling you,
it's a lot bigger book.
He starts telling you things about himself that are not found in the New Testament. This is the danger in knowing everything about Jesus. You're going to think he's a false Jesus. Why?
100% people
because
will
it's
reject
not in the New Testament. It's not in the Nicene Creed.
People will reject him.
It's a different Jesus. You're not Christian.
People will reject him to his face,
and he'll be like, "Guys, I'm Jesus."
And they're like, "No."
Can I add one little thing? Like, it's interesting to me, and hopefully I don't take this too tangent, but it was interesting to me because I watch a lot of podcasts and a lot of these guys that are out there, and I felt for the first time in a long while with this incident that happened in Michigan that a lot of these big time podcasters were talking about us and our church in a way where we were more part of being
100%.
part of the Christian
a community.
world.
Okay, what happened in Michigan? We've alluded to it a few times. Let's just get it on the table.
Dan, you haven't pulled up the deets.
Yeah. I'll get you the details. So this took place September 28th. It was on Sunday. So this past Sunday, where we're now, that was 2 days ago.
And before Dan says this, think how completely idiotic you have to be to wonder what this guy's political party was. That has driven me crazy. He wasn't attacking a political figure. He was attacking a religion, yet we are so effed up as a country that half the comments on social media are, he's MAGA, or he's a liberal. Who freaking cares?
Say the actual F word.
Ask that
Say the
to
actual F word,
yourself.
Glenn. Do
Ask
it.
before Dan does this. Convince yourself his political party does not matter.
What kind of batteries
Right-
did you
right
use?
now.
If it was Duracell, then I'm out.
We are to the point now where the #1 pizza place in Italy will have a food critic recommend them, and the first thing you're going to ask before you go try the pizza is, what political party? Dude, he's a food critic. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm so mad about... We are so divided about politics. Hey, I saved that little kid from getting run over by a car. Should you have touched that kid? What political party are you?
Well, my favorite one is the Tylenol
Dude.
thing. My favorite one is the Tylenol thing. All these pregnant ladies eating Tylenol because Trump said it was unsafe.
Hey, and if you know what, if Obama had come out and said it's really bad to jump out of the top floor of a building, I'm convinced tons of MAGA would be like, oh yeah, and they'd go splatter on the sidewalk because,
you
dude,
don't know
it's
me.
both sides. Anyway,
all right,
Dan,
all right.
what happened?
Okay. So 2 days ago, by the time this comes out, it will probably be like 3 or 4 days. But September 28th, about
Positive
10.
thinking, Dan.
Sorry, about 10:25 a.m. So this was at the Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, LDS Church Meetinghouse.
Where is that? North Michigan?
Let me look.
It's not by Detroit.
Let me
The whole
look.
place would have got shut off if it was. Sorry.
The big white
Grand
church.
Blanc,
Grand
Michigan.
Blanc,
I'm looking at where it's
Michigan.
at. I think it's north. Anyway, keep going.
Grand Blanc, Michigan. I'm looking it up right now. Sorry, everybody. Let's take a look here. I'm going to confirm.
Well, I was going to say, while he's looking that up, we can just talk a little bit. Like, there was a guy that took his truck, rammed into the front of the church, not into one of the entrances, but he rammed into the front of the church. And the accounts say that the...
Oh, not one of the entrances?
No. So
Oh,
the
it's like
members...
central Michigan,
Yeah,
a
so
little.
the
Central
members...
West Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the members heard the crash, and so their immediate reaction was,
Go help.
oh, yeah, we need to go help. So they start going out. And
Yeah.
then, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, so then as people were wondering what was going on, he exited the vehicle and opened fire on worshipers. And apparently, and I'll get into, casualties and things like that here in a second. But,
Just
he
a top
also,
view. Yeah, just a top view.
He also set fire to the building, and reportedly with gasoline. There was initial reports saying that he had possibly improvised explosive devices. That could potentially be true, but it was mainly these devices had gasoline.
That's really interesting to me. The only thing I saw was that they had, how they always have newscasts. They always go interview people that were around or whatever, and they always look crazy.
And the
Did
one
you
guy's
see
like, I was grilling on my grill outside, and I was like, what? And they're like, that building's on fire.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Did you see the old lady one with the white hair?
Yeah.
And she was in the congregation, and she's like, I jumped in the car and bullets hit it, and she just looks. I was just remember thinking, man, don't do interviews. The news always makes you look crazy. But then she says, if he thought that it was going to shake my testimony to Jesus Christ, he's got another thing coming.
Okay, that's legit.
And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah,
you are now.
yeah.
I want a T-shirt with that old
Yeah.
lady on my
Yeah.
because like you said, Mike, it's like. And I've been kind of holding this, but my thought with all of these things happening, and even the focus with Charlie Kirk being in Utah, there's Mormon stuff being brought up,
Yeah.
and it's been said that Joseph Smith's name will be held for good and bad, for good or evil through all the world, and I've just noticed our church is like all over the news for good and bad, all the time, but like you said, people are starting to have a little bit more discourse about these guys are they believe. Like there was this sports casting show where they were talking about BYU football and stuff like that, but they talked about the shooting, and one guy had a BYU hat on and the other guy and they were talking about it, and they were not members of the church, and they went through a pretty accurate representation of what we believe to their listeners. I'm just like, I don't know.
No, I love that. And we have to ask ourselves as members. We have to ask ourselves as members, man. Like, I'm ashamed and I'm repentant. If I'm ashamed that the interactions I've had about politics are online, that somewhere they're stored somewhere.
Yeah, but
like no, it was naive. It was dumb. And it wasn't Christ-like. A lot of times it just wasn't Christ-like. I don't mean recently. I'm talking over the years.
No, but this is a good one that more than offsets it. I first saw this from someone else, but then I saw you do it too. So
the truffle shuffle.
If you could now do the truffle shuffle.
I'm not doing it, dude.
No.
What kind of music do you need?
I think that this is interesting, and I'm actually looking this up on purpose because I just remember. Do you remember when the Amish they shut up that school and how they reacted? And I was like, that's Christ-like.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Well, I'm looking at this where you're like, and you're just passing it on, but you're passing it on. Someone started a GoFundMe for this dude's family.
I donated today. My brother showed me that.
It's raised $110,000. And
the guy from Word Radio started it.
Many of those people that are donating their money to this shooter's family are LDS people.
They're mostly LDS.
And I think, good.
Yeah.
What an opportunity.
Well, like what? His wife and kids shouldn't feel our love. They lost their dad.
Their dad.
And let me tell you, man, like, this is going to get controversial maybe.
Uh-oh.
My son has epilepsy, and the doctors refused to believe it was epilepsy. We had to fight to save that kid's life. That's a whole story. But one doctor was convinced that it was in his head, which it's like, I don't know. They're crazy. Some of these guys are. It's like mechanics. Some of them aren't very good. Okay, so
the Pareto distribution.
We're trying to save our son's life, and she wants to put him on this drug called Lexapro, which is I think like an antidepressant or anti-anxiety or something. And I said, dude, at this point we'll try anything. We just want him to live. We don't want him to die having a seizure. So they put him on this stuff, and this is 100% a true story, you guys. They put him on this Lexapro. And a few days in, or a week or two in, I come home from work on lunch. I'd always come check on him during the day. And anyway, he's standing in the kitchen staring like this. He's just like frozen. Jeez, and I'm like,
bro,
hey, Riles, are you okay, buddy? And he looks at me, and I sit down on a chair. And he goes, Dad, are you supposed to sit on that?
Oh, my God.
And I go, what? I said, yeah, dude, here, have a seat, buddy. And he goes, no, I heard it's disrespectful to sit on that.
On what? A chair?
And I go, the chair? And he gets a nervous look and he goes, no, on a gravestone. Like, we're not supposed to sit on the gravestones.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, son, where are we right now? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, where do you think we are right now? And he goes, well, aren't we in a cemetery? And I'm like, no, dude, we're in our freaking kitchen. And he gets this crazy look like, what? The world spin. I sit him down. Immediately, I start learning how to wean my kid off of this stuff. My point is this. These shooters that we're judging.
Yeah.
Okay? What the freak antidepressants are these people on?
Oh, they're all on
okay,
some.
I call the doctor, and I go, hey, my son is in my kitchen and thinks we're in a freaking cemetery. Yeah, there's some hallucinations and stuff that come with that. You didn't effing warn me about that? Like, dude, what? And so...
Well, let's also, real quick, I want to pause for a second.
Yeah.
I've thought about this too. So let's pause for a second. That's one incident. He's in a cemetery and everything worked out. Now, times 100 million people. And what percentage of people do we need to have think that they're under attack and have to go murder someone
at
immediately?
A school or a church
It's like one... Well, I mean, if you have...
Well, do you guys want...
1 in a million is like that phrase you use for like, it's 1 in a million.
Here's
like
research I've done.
That would be 100 people.
I'll challenge all of you to do the research, okay? I've looked up every single mass shooting and school shooting in America in the last 20 years. There's only 2 that I can't get to the bottom of. Every single one of the other ones were on antidepressants.
Well, do you guys want to know in depth what we know about the shooter at the Michigan?
I just know he's an Iraq war veteran.
But yeah.
He's an Iraq war veteran. He's a dad. And I'm guessing he was on stuff. I know he was anti-Mormon.
Yeah, it
That's
says that
common
he
knowledge
was
for 10 years.
Yeah,
Oh, he was anti-Mormon?
Yeah.
Yeah, anti-Mormon. He referred to people of the LDS faith as antichrists. He apparently was in a romantic relationship with a member of the church that ended in a very bad way. Apparently, ended terribly, according to friends and people that knew him, family members, etc. But as far as speculations and things like that. I mean, there's all kinds of political speculations, which honestly doesn't really matter. But the point is it sounds like he was in a relationship with a former spouse that ended poorly. And from that point on, they said that he was very vocal about his hatred of the church.
This is why I'm anti-war now too. By the way, I think of these guys, and I'm not saying this was necessarily this, but you send these young men over and they murder. I don't want to say murder like it's bad, but they get in situations where they have to take life.
A lot of it,
and they see terrible things, and it affects them certain ways. They get on these drugs, like you're saying, Glenn.
Then they get it back, and they've got social media and all these influences.
And it's like, what do we expect besides what we get?
Right. I understand, and I don't, and here's why. I know a lot of I've met a lot of World War II veterans that saw worse stuff, and they lived good lives, dude.
Yeah, but guess what they didn't do?
They didn't get on these drugs,
They
and they didn't have social media. And so and the reason I bring up these drugs he's on is I just don't want anyone to hate anybody, including the guy that shot our brothers and sisters in Michigan. I think this hate has got to stop. And so my repentance is I'm really trying to look at my feelings and go, you know, every time I see some flag I disagree with on a house or on a bumper sticker can I have my emotions go somewhere besides anger? I'm
going to stop keying Teslas.
Dang, Travis.
Travis, dude, not the Cybertrucks. Those are stainless steel, man. But so as Latter-day Saints guys, how can we be part? Look, we either have to be part of the solution, or we have to be part of the problem. Now, granted,
say that again.
We're either part of the solution or we're part of the problem.
We are okay.
Yeah, we have to be one or the other.
We're the problem.
Yeah, we have to be one or the other, right?
That sounded like okay.
And let me get your input on this, guys, because I'm a bold guy, and I don't. A lot of people that know me know that I'm going to tell you the truth right now. I don't like being the bold guy. Like I get up at the pulpit in church and I say things that are uncomfortable for people, and I don't like it. I don't like the knowing half the world doesn't like me. I do feel a responsibility ever since I was extremely bold on my mission.
Probably not going to a lot of dinner parties.
Yeah, I have like 3 friends. You idiots are about it. So it's like, I look at it like this, dude, like, I do it because the Lord made me not afraid of very much, and it made me an amazing missionary. Like I did a lot of good because I was bold. I wasn't scared, right? And so I've maybe I've made mistakes here. I don't know. I'm trying to evaluate these feelings in myself, because I don't know if it's the Spirit telling me, "Hey, don't be so bold," or if it's Satan telling me to, "Hey, don't be so bold." Like withdraw a little bit. I don't know, because I want to testify with power. I want to testify with authority. I want to help people feel that Spirit and make cognitive decisions on to help in their spiritual lives. I want to be bold and want to be that influence that I feel like He made me born to be. But even that, I'm like, is that too divisive? And then I flip, guys, as you think of the answer, to talk about this with me for a second. There is a scripture that says, I did not come to unify. I come to divide. Father against son, mother against daughter.
Yeah, but who's talking?
Christ.
All right.
So as we represent Christ with our priesthood, do we expect anything different? If we testify of something, you watch. If President Oaks is the next prophet, and he's anything like he has been, hey, there's going to be some division, dude.
I think you're onto something, Glenn. I don't disagree that you have to have conviction. You have to stand for something, for sure. However, I think that anybody thinking that there's the arbiter, I think that one thing I like about you is, you're not afraid to do that, but you don't just willy-nilly go off half-cocked. I think there's a formula. The formula is essentially do your personal study. So your personal prayers, take care of your jurisdiction first, which you're a good man. You take care of your family. They're your priority. And then if you feel the Spirit move upon you, then you act on it, right? And by doing that, you flex that muscle and you build that muscle up. I think if if you are like, I'm going to now become this arbiter of right and wrong and calling people to judgment, then I think it could go bad.
Yeah, I don't want to call anyone to judgment because then I'd have to call myself to judgment.
Right.
But let's but let's shift. I want to end on a kind of positive thing with
Me too.
You brought President Nelson.
Yeah.
Can I give a couple of thoughts?
Do it. And I have some too. Like, that's. Hey, before we end on this, like,
Yeah,
So what
finish it up.
So what are we talking about? What we've just kind of gone off, but I hope that everyone realizes there's a topic.
A guy
here.
shot up a church, and Charlie Kirk got shot, and actually a lot of terrible things have happened. And a big part of it is that we've allowed ourselves to be taken over and become in the world instead of, or of the world instead of in the world. What's that?
Yeah,
Phrase?
in the world, not of the world.
Yeah, and so I think we need to guard against that. But then I do think that there's a lot of positives that are coming from these terrible events. One of them is that our religion, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is becoming more polarized because there's a lot of hate. But a lot of people are. My son is on his mission. They just broke the record again for the New Jersey mission for baptisms. And now there's a couple factors. I have to go on this tangent. It's a tiny tangent. You know, I'm kind of an anti-immigration guy. Like, I'm like, well, we can't just let everyone come here and have open borders. And I still kind of feel that way. However, Jesus is the Lord.
The Lord's purposes
and Christ is here. And many of the people my son is baptizing in New Jersey are not from New Jersey. They're not from America. And they had to come to New Jersey to find Jesus Christ. And so, like we talked about holding strong beliefs loosely, I'm willing. I'll give it up.
Got it. I think about that all the time because my son's in Toronto, and guys, Canada,
Yes, same as you.
Canada is going down the toilet because of immigration. But my son's saying the most righteous, amazing people are the Africans, and they're being baptized like daily, like just
Yeah.
tens
And
and record baptisms, just
Yeah.
like you're saying.
Strong beliefs held loosely. I think is where we need to be, because I don't think that it's really coming down to this is right and this is wrong. It really comes down to the timing of the Lord is so precise, and even terrible things like this gentleman shooting up a church. I gotta be sensitive about this, but there's good that can come from it, and one of the things that is good is that people are raising money for this guy's family.
If good doesn't come of it, it's a tragedy.
Right.
So if Christians can start to look at the LDS Church as a Christian denomination,
and maybe if
think of the good there,
and maybe if some LDS people can have their testimony take, where am I? And they just resolve, and maybe we don't even know. Maybe they're the people in your church, and you're like, where are the wheat and the tares? And maybe they have been leaning towards becoming a tare, and they resolve to become wheat. I mean, that could be. There's so many effects from things.
Yeah, we've gone off on this stuff, and I hope that people understand what we're trying to get to the bottom of is be introspective. We haven't answered anything because Travis said it the best. We don't have all the answers about all this stuff. Like, what can we do though? We can, like I said, that my bishop said, we can hold on to our covenants. We can love that neighbor. We can serve that neighbor. My challenge on this stuff before we get into the President Nelson stuff is find the people you don't like. Find the people with the flags on the house you don't like, the political opinions you don't like, and serve them and love them.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
And that's the only way that you can be a positive influence and turn off. Guys, I just stop looking at it. Just all the freaking social media, just turn it off.
We're
dude.
not that different,
It's
dude.
so bad. We're not that different.
I have a Democratic Socialist friend from high school, and that's about as far from my beliefs as you can get. But literally 90% of what we want is the same. We want our kids to be healthy and happy. We want to treat our neighbors. I mean, it's...
And I'm not saying don't be passionate about your political opinion. Go vote the way you feel like you should. Mm-hmm. Just don't let it get in the way of loving another person. We have gone beyond other people don't matter to the point now where we're shooting each other. To the point where people in my ward weren't affected by Charlie Kirk's head getting blown off 5 minutes from our house. Something's wrong. And if it's the Latter-day Saints that are like that if you're not upset by that, there's something wrong, Yeah. And we need to help each other get right. We need to help each other get right.
Well, one thing that
Here's the truth. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry to interrupt, but one thing that I've been thinking a lot about, kudos to Glenn, and something that he said early on in the Extra Mo Show podcast, was talking about the concept of the 500-year plan, right? And I reflect back on that in a lot of these situations, because I look at the polarity, the wickedness and evil in the world, the wars, the divisiveness, and I think to myself, you know what? I'm here for the 500-year plan, right? Like I'm here on this earth to gain experience, to be tested, to show my worthiness to Heavenly Father, to build my kingdom, right? To build my family, my posterity, and that's like the stuff that really matters, 500 years from now, when we've passed through the veil and we're, living in on a spiritual existence with, Heavenly Father until, second coming and all that kind of fun stuff. But
where none of us will be talking about what career we had,
Yeah.
or what political party we were in,
Yeah.
or how much money we had.
Amen.
None
Amen.
of us.
None of that's going to matter. So it's
Yeah.
like we got to keep our priorities straight and focus on our 500-year plan, what really matters.
Well, I
and
think
stick
people
to
will
that.
still hate car guys, Glenn.
I hate car guys.
No, yeah,
I
all
hate
those
being
years.
a car guy.
Here's a trivia question, guys. Here's a trivia question. How many temples did President Nelson announce?
My guess would be like 70.
You said 70. I'm going to say 89.
I would guess.
Mike, if you say 90, it's not that game. Okay, don't do that.
Yeah. yeah.
Oh, Price is
I'll
Right.
say 50.
200.
No way.
It's more than I thought.
Holy cow.
So he became the prophet of the church in 2018.
Oh, that's true.
So what? That was 8 years ago. He's 101. So he became prophet when he was 94. Am I doing the math right? But
You're a math wizard.
But listen to this, dude. Yeah. How many countries did he visit? Now, I say that because it's related to being 94 years old.
Yeah.
You just went to Europe.
Spit it out.
And you
Spit it
almost
out.
died.
Spit it out.
94 countries, or 32 countries. He's
Dang.
94 years old. 32 countries.
I haven't
dude.
even left the United States.
I still have jet lag and I've been home for 3 weeks.
Now, I'm old enough to remember. Do you remember President Monson and what he would say? I'm a Mormon, true blue. He had this little poem.
Yeah, old school.
I'm a Mormon, true blue, dyed in the wool, blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't, I'm not being I liked it. I like being a Mormon. I'm a Mormon. There was a song, Through and Through, and if you think I'm peculiar in things I say and do. Do you remember that song? Anyway, we were Mormons.
I think you made that song up.
And
just
then
now.
President Nelson
Amazed
came
by
out
that.
and he said, we're not Mormons.
Yeah.
And that's a strong belief I had. If I was, okay, I know people that were like, their testimony was shook, right?
Yeah.
Like, because the prophet Monson said we're Mormons. And then the prophet Nelson said we're not Mormons. So there's this strong belief we have to hold them loosely, guys, because things can change. But he reversed that. Here's a big one, even bigger. He reversed the controversial rules that banned baptisms for children of gay parents. Do you remember that? If they had gay parents, they couldn't get baptized.
And how many people left the church over that?
And people left the church over it, but they should have just waited. Because because Nelson
Does it give everybody a right, the people a right to have doubts? Sure.
yeah.
Did you guys know that when Spencer W. Kimball had to freaking, as he was praying about the race ban, he had to make
I'm glad you brought the race ban up.
historians and church leaders go research it to find out if it was even doctrine or
Yeah.
or just a
He's brave enough to
political
look.
statement. He had to look into that to even know if it was doctrine.
He was brave enough to look into it. But yeah, I'm glad you brought up the race thing, because here's the last one I'll say is kind of just like the trivia facts. But he formed a formal relationship with the NAACP. So our LDS church, which does have a history of banning people of color, it was specifically blacks, from having the priesthood, now has a formal relationship with NAACP. And many of they call it the black church leaders, look at President Nelson as a friend. And they're mourning his
he's
passing.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
I love President Nelson. I think he was a kinder, gentler prophet of any of the,
Yeah, he's like a Gordon B. Hinckley, not as kind of gentle as Gordon B. Hinckley, but up
Oh,
there.
maybe that's true. Gordon B. Hinckley
That
was
guy
so
was just
nice.
like everybody's grandpa.
Yeah, yeah.
We all just wanted to hug Gordon B.
No,
Hinckley.
you're right. But it was just neat to see this old person be so vital. And
One of the accelerants, Travis, of the last days,
Mm-hmm.
to me, is what you're saying. I've seen prophecy come true. I've never seen it over and over and over in 8 years.
Right.
And I'm like, dude,
No,
we just
I'm
saw
with you.
we just saw Revelation fulfill. And I think when we talk about when President
Yes,
Nelson
it's like,
talked about in these days, everyone's getting down and about all these terrible things that are happening. But remember what he said. For those that are keeping their covenants, for those that are doing it right, you're going to see the most amazing, miraculous spiritual outpourings that the world has ever seen.
It's easy to get negative about this stuff, but President Nelson talked often about how awesome it was.
Yeah. And it's, dude, my heart goes out to the families of those people in Michigan. Like, don't get me wrong. These things are tragic and they're going to be difficult. And my prediction is it'll be people we love. It might even be us. That these things happen to, you know, because we are the kind of guys that are bold and share our testimony. And I'm surprised I haven't been shot yet by my bishop. No, I'm just kidding.
No, by the first counselor.
This was something that changed my life, and it's been a difficult thing for me to do. So I didn't change overnight. I'm still working on it. It's because of President Nelson.
Okay, what is it?
This cut me to the center.
I think I know what you should say.
He was talking about in the emergency room.
Yes.
The guy throwing the scalpel swearing, and it sticks in President Nelson's
That is one
arm.
of the best talks.
Dude, it's so
What
good.
is that talk called? My wife knows.
Peacemakers.
It's called Peacemakers. That's right.
In the middle of this guy's tantrum, he throws a scalpel loaded with germs. It lands in President Nelson's forearm.
Say like what's happening. Give
Yeah,
us
they're
kind of-
doing a surgery.
They're doing a
It was
surgery.
during President Nelson's internship.
And he's like a young man.
And this doctor starts swearing and freaking out, pissed because a nurse had done something wrong with the instruments, grabs a scalpel, hucks it across the room, and it sticks in President Nelson's arm. So I want you to think of every bacterial disease in an emergency room.
That's insane.
And here he is, threw a scalpel loaded with germs, landed in his forearm. Everyone in the operating room, absolutely horrified, except the out-of-control surgeon, who
Which
was
apparently used to be the thing. Like doctors were kind of like that.
Gratefully, his arm didn't become infected. The experience left a lasting impression on him. In that very hour, he says, I promised myself that whatever happened in my operating room, I would never lose control of my emotions. I also vowed that day never to throw anything in anger, whether it be scalpels or words.
Dang.
Even now, decades later, I find myself wondering if the
Drops
contaminated
bars,
scalpel
dude.
that landed on my arm was any more toxic than the venomous contention that infects our civic dialogue and too many personal relationships today. Civility and decency seem to have disappeared during this era of polarization and passionate disagreements. Vulgarity, fault-finding, and evil-speaking of others are all too common. Too many pundits, politicians, entertainers, and other influencers throw insults constantly. And I'm a Trump supporter, and he's guilty of this. I am greatly concerned that so many people seem to believe that it is completely acceptable to condemn, malign, and vilify anyone who doesn't agree with them. Many seem eager to damage another's reputation with pathetic and pithy barbs. And I just remember reading that.
He lays it down. That's
and
so
being like,
beautiful almost.
Yes, I'm passionate about abortion. Yes, I think it's one of the most evil things that has ever become commonplace in the world. And there's no reason for me to fight with people about abortion. There's just no reason. It's my belief. I'll try to, if I'm ever in a situation where I can talk someone out of having one, I'll try my best. We'll adopt. I'll do whatever I have to stop an abortion from happening. I think it's a barbaric, evil practice. But I don't need to be online hurling insults at people that are pro-abortion, not knowing that maybe they've been raped.
How many thousands
Maybe
of
they've
people
had a kid from a rape. Maybe we don't know where they're coming from. And like President Nelson was the one that made me evaluate my heart and my
I remember when
feelings.
that happened. You brought it up.
I just felt guilty, dude. I am guilty.
How many thousands of people do you think you changed their minds from your Facebook rants?
Yeah, zero, dude. I just look like an ass. I just look like an angry little ass that wants to fight about MAGA.
I have a counterpoint though.
Yeah.
President Nelson giving that talk, the Peacemakers talk. Now I don't have attribution, but I was listening to Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan recently was talking to someone about, he had an event happen where, because he was really passionate about the trans, mutilating kids and stuff. And he's felt like God told him, he says, that's not your fight, dude. Love your neighbor. And I feel like, I'm not saying it was from necessarily President Nelson to Sean Ryan and it would ripple through.
Very similar dudes.
But these when we follow Christ and when we espouse Christ-like attributes, they do have a butterfly effect, and they do go through our world, and they can uplift people that are feeling down. And maybe these people who are having abortions, if we were being more Christ-like, could feel more support, and they would feel alone.
Dude, how many corrupt doctors are telling them it's not a real life, and then they look at us like we're insane? And really, what does any of it matter? What are we fighting about?
Yeah.
I'm not having an abortion. My wife's not. My daughter's not. My family's not. Like, let's lift where we stand and maybe quit worrying so much about what everyone else is doing. Other than that, if they need our help, if they need us to minister, like
that's what President Nelson was all about. He's just have peace, speak kind words.
Yeah,
and I think that that's what I'll remember about him is that it was so powerful. Like he's taking kind of the meek, and you think the meek shall inherit the earth, and it's like he's taking that and he's showing us so that being meek isn't a weakness. It's actually a power.
The Lord showed us that too, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were online like celebrating that, or I'm sorry, not celebrating his death, like yay he died, but I'm one of the people that when I heard he died, I smiled. I'm so happy for him. He just found out a few days ago. He's all of his sight was gone. I mean, I can envision, and again, I don't know.
He has two daughters
I can envision
that died before him.
He's praying like, "Hey, can I be
kids
done?"
Are in their 80s.
I envision
like,
it. I envision him praying, "Can I be done?" Like I've done everything, and the Lord being like, "Sure, dude."
They won't even let me ski anymore.
Yeah, he's like, "Dude, I can't even see." Right. But I'll finish with this. Like, here's the one thing that came to my mind, and sorry if this is crazy, but as I've thought about this division, how I'm going to be, I don't want to promulgate division. I don't want to promulgate anger. And it's not in my nature. Like, this is something that I'm going to have to work very hard at because I'm a very passionate person. You know me as a close friend. I wear my emotions right on my sleeves. You know what kind of mood I'm in. You know what I believe the minute. And some people like that because they know where they stand with me all the time. I'll just tell you. But a lot of people don't. So it's going to be a lot of work for me. So as I'm contemplating and praying, like how to handle this in my interactions at church, interactions in my daily life, I imagine this scenario. And, I don't know, maybe I'll share this in testimony meeting or something. Like, I imagine that our ward is in front of the Savior in the next life, my ward family, which we have a great ward. Don't you think, Mike? We have a pretty awesome ward, but of every ward I've ever been in, I've never seen division like I see based on political stuff. It's weird, dude. I've never seen it. Mike, are you seeing it? Have you seen it?
No,
You
I was
better
just
have.
thinking, like, I've never been in a ward like this where it feels like I could see what the Celestial Kingdom would be like with these guys.
Yeah. Great people, right?
Amazing people.
There's just this weird
on both
division.
sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
And yet I never really feel like, I don't know, maybe it's because I know that I disagree with some people because we've had those conversations. It's a tight-knit ward.
Yeah. We have a great ward. It's awesome. I love them.
Our Sunbeam teacher of my Jaylee that I brought up earlier, like the best team teaching Sunbeam teacher in the history of the world. And they're kind of like pro-gay, whatever. They have the rainbow flag in their yard. But we loved them. We still love them. But they quit coming to church. And I feel like it's one of those things you're kind of talking about. It's just that division, they don't feel welcome, probably.
Well, we've had people in our ward go inactive because they were MAGA and they got called out by people in the ward. Like, people have come and talked to me about these things. And I look at, there's a gal in our ward who wears LGBTQ stuff to church, and to me that's been kind of wild for me to digest. Like, I struggle with it a little bit, but
Glenn, I
know
love that. I mean,
they're
I
amazing.
just gotta say to the camera, the Glenn has come a long way.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
But the crazy thing is, like, as far as anxiously engaged in the work,
You're awesome.
That couple, I think, is the most anxiously engaged in the work.
Sure.
Like, I see them out visiting the elderly, visiting people that need stuff. So I'm like, really, like, Glenn, control your feelings. Like, why are you struggling with this? Like, anyway, all this division stuff. here's the thought that came to my mind. My ward family, we're all dead in the next life. And the Savior walks into our chapel or whatever, and we're all there. And everybody starts worshiping, and everybody starts weeping, and everybody starts kneeling. And one at a time, we go up and kneel in front of the Savior and bathe his feet with our tears and da-da-da. And then one brother does it, and another, and a sister. And then all of a sudden, a guy's going to go, well, I'm not doing that because she's a Democrat. She did that, and she's a Democrat. Like,
Glenn,
doesn't that sound like literally the most insane scenario you could ever even imagine? Like, that someone would do that in front of the Savior. And brothers and sisters, we are doing that. In the vineyard, we are doing that in our wards. The work of the Lord, the most sacred thing we could be involved in, if we're letting a political party get in the way of trying to build the city of Enoch, we've got some introspection, some repenting, and some serious.
Do you remember
thought.
us sitting in a Denny's and you were currently going through your faith crisis? Can I share one of our Denny's conversation?
I don't even remember anything.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm just going to make this up.
I'll just deny it.
No, but no, I remember
How
we
many
were talking.
carbs did I eat, really?
Glenn
So like
was
a
like,
stack of
this
chocolate
was
chip
when
pancakes.
Glenn was basically buying.
I'm like, I don't even give a shiz if I die.
Glenn was buying
I'm
insulin
diabetic.
off of Teemu. Freaking, he didn't even have measurements.
Insulin's $3.
He's like, well, I'm going to get the French toast with caramel sauce. That's probably about 3 ounces. Anyway, so we'd be in Denny's, and Glenn was struggling, and he told me that he's not going to heaven. He's like, even if it's true.
Whoa, I still am not positive I am.
You might not. I'm not going to judge one way or the other, but he's like, I'm not going to go to heaven.
Yeah.
And I go, Glenn, if you want to go, you're going to go. And we had this conversation, and it's almost like what you're talking about. And here's the worst part. I believe you're going to make it, but then people are going to walk in, and they're going to see you there, and they've lived a perfect life. And they're going to say, I ain't going to this shithole. I'm out.
Dude.
Because Glenn Curtis is here.
Hey.
And I think that honestly, what you're talking about in your ward with the vision of this ward family doing the same thing, I think that we're all kind of like that.
Dude,
we're stack ranking ourselves.
How would you react if it's freaking Obama
Yeah.
in front of the Savior? Or how are you going to react?
You know what? That's a good
Saints, if
question.
it's Donald Trump crying and washing
hold
the
on.
Savior's feet with
On
his
the-
tears,
on
how
the
are you
Obama-
going to react?
On the Obama one, that was a good question because my first reaction was embarrassed. I would be embarrassed about the things I've thought and felt about him.
Sure, I'd apologize.
He's a guy who according to our beliefs, raised his hand and supported Christ's plan. He's a human being. He's
yeah, he came down here worthily. Yeah.
And so it's like,
And I'll apologize. I know she's not Michael.
That actually was a really
I
good
know
question.
she's not Michael, dude. I know.
so say that again.
I've seen pictures of her when she's young. That's Michelle.
I don't even care anymore. I don't even care, dude. But I do know this: Macron's wife. That's a dude.
There's a question there for sure.
Yeah.
It could be AI.
But Glenn, I love the question, dude. The question is, think of someone who you think is a scumbag.
Got it.
And you enter the pearly gates, and you see them there.
I sneak in.
How are you, Glenn? Glenn's
hiding behind people. I
Glenn's
sneak
like,
in.
hello, I'm here to trim the grass.
Hey,
That's
nothing to see here.
Anyway, that was probably inappropriate.
You think in the next life I talk like Nacho Libre?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But my point is, you see someone you don't like, how do you feel? Because I'm gonna actually ask my kids that. I think that's a good one because when you said Obama, and I didn't hate Obama that much, but I was like, ooh, that'd be kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, my opinions on
I
him.
certainly wouldn't go up to him and say,
I
hey,
have
brother.
very strong opinions about that guy, but sorry.
I probably wouldn't run up to him and. I didn't even hear it.
Good.
I love it.
I have very divisive opinions. Anyway,
Okay. Anywho,
if he's kneeling in front of the Savior and asking forgiveness, I'm gonna help him, dude. I want to help him, right? Like all of us. I hope we're all open that way.
hopefully
dude.
we can just realize how imperfect we all are. And part of this podcast that I want to get out there, and that we talk about a lot, we're not coming from a place of righteousness. We're actually the opposite.
If you're
we're
looking,
people who are in a battle
if
for our lives
anyone's
every day.
looking up to us, I implore you to stop.
One sec. We're in a battle for our spiritual lives on the daily, and I think that that's partly what I want to share. If you're feeling like is this stuff even true? I don't know. That's pretty wild. Okay, that's insane. That short came up. Joseph Smith's a creep. Yeah, people have thought that. But like Glenn said, you can just take it or you can get to the bottom of it. And I don't know if I've gotten to the bottom of it, but I'm definitely working on it.
Yeah. And I am too, man. I hope we all are. And that's the purpose of this is like, we want to help anybody that we can and we just want people to, I think the real synopsis of what we've discussed tonight is what you said. Like the quote that you read about, don't be
strong
so
beliefs
strong in
held
your
loosely.
Be strong in your spiritual conviction. And don't take out of this. There's no absolutes, guys. I've had the Holy Ghost that I know is the Holy Ghost that I know comes from God. Tell me truths that are eternal. They're absolute. They will never change, and I know they won't.
But you've also
But there are things-
those are things that just I want to point that out. You've brought that up in a previous pod or maybe a Denny's, and you won't share those.
A lot of them.
I think when you get closer and closer to the actual truth, that's the pearls of great price that we don't.
Because
throw
you
in front of the
realize what's
swine.
going on in the world.
Yeah.
If you shared certain truths, they're going to get defecated on
Yeah.
and word vomited on and desecrated and ridiculed and mocked. And that's just what happens.
Even maybe even
and
worse,
shot in the neck.
and maybe even just
figuratively.
maybe even just not understood.
Figuratively. I'm sorry, dude. He was a good guy,
He
man.
was a good
I don't
guy.
care who you are. That was a righteous man that got shot in the neck, dude.
No, he was.
And
Beautiful
it's,
wife.
Beautiful family.
I did want to bring up one thing, the Charlie Kirk thing, and you want to talk about putting your money where your mouth is. People were so rude about it, but she forgave the shooter, dude.
Yeah.
Now,
It's about as Christ-like as it gets.
you know what?
I still hadn't forgiven the shooter.
Tucker Carlson.
I don't even know Charlie.
Listen to this, bro. Tucker Carlson, I believe it was him. I think it was him. Maybe I'm going to back off Tucker Carlson. Some popular pundit said he had an issue with his dad and he hadn't forgiven his dad.
Tim Allen.
That's what it was. Tim Allen.
Yeah.
And he hadn't forgiven his dad for what,
30 years or 40 years or something. Yeah.
But it wasn't his dad; it was his dad's killer.
The guy that
Oh, that's
killed his
Tim Allen's
dad.
dad that killed his dad.
Was murdered. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you, everyone who knows the story better than me, and I brought it up. But I still I love this. Like, okay, a horrible tragedy that Charlie Kirk gets killed, but the ripple effect is how we react to that. His wife forgives the murderer, and a guy that's a burden to carry a hatred for someone for 30 or 40 years, even though justified. If someone murders your dad, I think it's just, but carrying that burden for that long, and then he forgives somebody because of this terrible incident. It's wild to me, the terrible things that can have a positive effect. And I think it's all in how we react. And that's why forgiveness, kindness, all those things that President Nelson talked about are so important. Anyway, I'll turn it over to you for the close.
No, I love it, dude. I think to go home tonight, man, just think about anyone that's listening to this. First off, understand you're being programmed by powers that you don't understand and see. Get off social media. Don't form an opinion on anything that's under an hour. If you see a 2-minute snippet, don't leave the church over it. Don't change your political party over it. Don't think you're right because of it, and don't think you're wrong because of it. Just probably turn it all off and study the things you need to study in your life to come to the knowledge that you're seeking, if you're seeking. The sad thing is, a lot of you aren't seeking. A lot of us aren't seeking. We're so comfortable where we're at. We don't want to sink. We just want affirmation, confirmation that we're right? So that's a big thing that we talked about. Don't be so stubborn in whatever political party or opinions we have that we're not open to anything. I think that immigration thing's a big one, like you said. Like, I've thought a lot about that. We do need secure borders, but the Lord's purposes are being accomplished, dude.
They're more important than America.
They're more important. Yeah, they're more important. Like, these are souls that our kids are baptizing that they love like family, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool.
Glenn, end us on give me one thing that you are convicted of right now that you positively believe in. Let's end on the positive swing.
Yeah. So the positive is take the lesson from President Nelson and like work on yourself. Be a peacemaker, man. Like, learn to love each other. Like, you know, and understand that this isn't like this last week isn't an anomaly. Buckle up, dude. President Nelson said, take your freaking vitamins. Because guess what, guys? This is all going to keep happening. It's all going to happen. It's all going to keep happening. We're either going to be a force for good or we're going to fall into it. And my natural man, guys, I'm waiting to, the natural man's just waiting to defend my word family with my weapon, period. I hope that never happens. The spiritual side of me is like...
You're going back to negative.
Well, the positive is this. The positive is this, right? Is like you can't give in to that natural man. Like you want to give in to the part of you that's a disciple of Christ that's a force for good.
Isn't it so hard when you're passionate about something that
so
have the two sides? It's like you just... No matter how far you get to one side, there's that other side pulling you back, dude.
People are in pain right now. We need to remember that.
Yeah.
People are in pain. Like,
go say hi to your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn your phone off and go say hi to your neighbor. That's the challenge.
Okay. There we go. Love you guys.